Well, hi there guys, it's Zane Truscott here, and today I'm really delighted to have with me Dr. Espen Hjalmby. How did I go with that?
Spot on.
And Dr. Espen is an absolute master at really helping people to raise their consciousness, their vibration, so that they can live their absolute best lives. And I think in times like this, Dr. Espen, there's a lot of uncertainty, fear out there. People are not really too sure about the future, and so I wanted to invite you in, and because I know you just got so many valuable insights and tips that you can share with these wonderful folks out here about quantum learning and how you can really help them improve their life.
Yeah, awesome. Well, firstly, it's a privilege to be here with you, and we know that your life is changing right now, and all of our lives are changing right now, whether we like it or not. And part of what I believe has been missed so much throughout science for so many years is the true fundamental component of what it means to be human, of how this universe actually works, and the quantum science that truly has proven this now for over 70 years. So having come from a background of being a nutritionist, of being a personal trainer, a qualified teacher, and then getting 2 more degrees in science after that, it's led me down a path of studying what this universe is really made up of and how we can transform from within. Not just working with the physical aspects, even though they are important, but really diving into this thing that we know as the unified field, as the scientists call it, or consciousness, or whatever we want to call this incredible field of energy.
And I think it's so crucial right now because I think now more than ever our consciousness is being tested as a human species, and so it's really up to us to be proactive in the way that we use these tools that you teach, Espen, to really raise our vibration, to make the right choices for us. I think is really the most important message.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone watching can relate to the fact that life is always going to give us some challenges. And right now, many of us are experiencing challenges in many areas of life. And I truly do believe that life does not happen to us. Life actually happens for us. And that's, from when I was 5 years old, I found my little brother passed away in his bed. 2 years after that, my little sister Katinka was born disabled without the use of her legs. And in 2006, as we've talked about, I broke both my legs and ended up being disabled and almost dying from a hospital infection myself. So more so than having, 3 degrees in science, I've actually had a lot of life experiences that have led me to find answers within. As an example, like what we've talked about, I had to go to hospital and 14 different pieces of metal through my body. And if it wasn't for what we refer to as healthcare, I wouldn't have been here. But I also knew in my heart of hearts that if I stayed in hospital, I would have died. So the real question is, what does it mean to truly live an incredible life? I call that quantum living. And where does sickness and disease come from, and how can we really heal? And not just our physical bodies, but every single area of life.
Yeah, so important because, I think a lot of people get stuck when it comes to wellness and just thinking, it's about, diet and exercise. And of course, if you've been listening to the Tolman wisdom, Don and Tyler for many years, you'll know that there's a lot more to that in terms of sunshine, walking, water, all those kinds of things. But what I really love about what you teach is it just plugs beautifully into the 7 principles of health and helps people to really tap into that intangible force, I guess, that we all have. But perhaps for a lot of us becomes a little dormant at times. And we tend to just focus on the physical rather than the spiritual and the emotional. Yeah,
of course, and therein lies the predicament. Therein lies the challenge, because when let's look at it realistically for a moment, and let me just break it down for you so you can get a concept of how it really works. Let's say that we look at this thing here. This is an arm. Okay, we know it's an arm. We can see it's an arm. We can touch it and feel it. It's an arm. But if we were to put my arm under a microscope, and the microscope is good enough, as you go lower into the microscope and seeing what's really there, you would end up seeing a molecule. I'm sure most of you would have heard of a molecule. And as you go deeper, you would find an atom. all right? And in the middle of the atom, there's a thing called the nucleus. You might have heard of that as well. And below that nucleus, or lower than that nucleus, there are lower levels, and they go all the way down into the quantum scale. And so effectively speaking, if we were to take any aspect of your body and place it under a good enough microscope, we would find the truth, which is that your body is actually made up of 99.9% pure space. Only 0.01% of this thing that we call Zane is actually physical. And so then if we work in the physical and mental and emotional realms, be that as important as it is, we are still only harvesting 0.01% of our own true potential. And this has been discovered over 70 years ago, since Max Planck won a Nobel Prize for quantum science. And quantum physicists have been talking about this for many, many years. The truth is that now this quantum science is available for each and every single person. So the reason why I teach the quantum experience, and the reason why I teach these fundamental principles of life, is so you can find that potential for yourself. And really then not just draw on 0.01%, but 100% of your quantum potential. What is this field then? This space, what is it? Well, some people call it consciousness. Other people call it God, the greater organized design. The scientists call it the unified field. And some people call it spirit, and some people call it source. I mean, it really doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is that this has been proven by science. It is actually what makes up the majority of who we are. And this is just gets my heart every time, Zane. It is untapped potential. This quantum potential that is within is waiting to be awakened. And we all have that potential. And that's what the quantum experience is about. It's about showing people a simple step-by-step blueprint of how to awaken the new quantum being within.
That's just awesome. And I think right now we all need a little bit of that. You know, we need some impetus and some tools to move forward with purpose, with direction, with strength, with that inner fortitude that we all have within us. And you know, there's a lot of forces at play right now that are kind of causing us to lose sight of the true essence of who we are. So I couldn't think of a better time to have you to be sharing your message and what you teach to the Fortune Education community, Espen. So thanks for being here. And you've got a 3-hour quantum online learning experience coming up. You want to just tell these folks real quick what they can expect to learn by tuning into that?
Yeah, so I'm going to run a quantum experience. It's a 3-hour free online training. The quantum experience is going to take you on a journey into the quantum field to discover where you are in all of the different areas of life and what you can do to make the rest of your life the best of your life. So we take a very powerful and actually quite simple concept such as quantum physics and break it down for every single person to understand. Then we look at the science of epigenetics, we look at the science of neuroplasticity and neuroscience, and then we wrap it all up by saying, here you are, and then run with it should you like to do so. So it's a 3-hour complimentary experience where you get to dive into the quantum field to experience what is the truth of who you really are and what we can achieve in this incredible life.
Powerful stuff. Guys, I've done some of Espen's work and I can absolutely recommend it without hesitation. He's a true genius at what he teaches. There's not many around that teach what he teaches. It is practical stuff. Don't get kind of swayed by some of the science, because it is practical and it is very much applicable to your own life. So I'd highly recommend that you join Espen for this live training. Just click on the link below and take advantage of that.
And thank you so much to all of you at Fortune Events and to all of you watching. We know that the bottom line is that we're here to serve you in these incredible times, and should you choose to jump on the training, we'll do everything we can to explore what's possible for you and how we can see this situation for something that is happening for us, not to us, and really then begin to master these situations from that perspective. So it's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you.
And see you for the live quantum experience.
Don't miss it, guys.